Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Zach Cox, and today what we got for you is actually the parents of every single GTA protagonist that we can physically see in a GTA game, or just see whether it be pictures or just hearing their voice. We're going to be covering every single one of those today, and for my OG supporters out there, you'll know that about 2.5 years ago, I covered a topic very similar to this on the channel, but I didn't go into full depth and detail about every single parent. I just covered the ones that we actually get to physically see in game. So today we're covering every one of these, and if you find the video enjoyable or just learned something new, then definitely be sure to give the video a thumbs up. But with that said, let's actually go ahead and get started with every single parent of each GTA protagonist. So starting things off with the first ever parent that we ever see in a GTA game, we have Janet Vance, who is actually the mother of Victor Vance, the protagonist of Vice City Stories, and also the mother of Lance Vance, a side character from GTA Vice City. Now, not much is known about Janet Vance aside from the fact that she is the drug addict mother, of course, of the Vance brothers, and she appears in only one cutscene with her boyfriend, Javier, and she is swearing like a sailor that she is not a drug addict. Unfortunately, though, she is a drug addict, and she is only coming around to steal her son's stash of cocaine, which she does, and then she leaves, and she is never seen again. So this is pretty crazy, but cool at the same time, because she is, of course, like I said, the first ever parent of a GTA protagonist to ever physically appear in a GTA game. Now, up next, we actually have Adrianna Lopez, the mother of Luis Lopez, the protagonist of The Ballad of Gay Tony. And what's crazy about Adrianna Lopez is that she constantly tells Luis to go back to school and leave the guns, drugs, and money-fueled nightclub life behind. But when Luis gives her this money that comes with this lifestyle, she doesn't hesitate to accept it, making her somewhat of a hypocrite. So, very interesting character to say the least. And Luis actually confronts her about this hypocritic behavior, and she goes on to say that, "What choice do I have? I've lost my job and this is my only source of income." So, Luis also replies with, "Then ask one of your other kids for money, the ones that you're not ashamed of." So, she shows a lot of shame and disrespect towards Luis, which is kind of understandable, because as much as the man cares about his mother for giving her his money that he earns, he is doing something that's not really making his mother proud. Now, for Luis Lopez's father, he is actually unnamed. We're simply going to call him Mr. Lopez in this video. Now, not much is known about him other than the fact that he was in the United States Marine Corps, and he left his mom and siblings for another family in the Midwest. Now, we can actually take a look inside Luis Lopez's apartment, and we can see a picture on the wall of Mr. Lopez, so that's pretty cool in and of itself. Now, moving on to Grand Theft Auto 5, we actually have the last parent of a protagonist that we get to physically see in-game, and this is Mrs. Phillips, who we encounter in the side mission called Mrs. Phillips. And I want to say that the only way to get a hold of this and play through this side mission is to complete GTA 5 and not kill Trevor. And after you complete the game, you're going to go back to Trevor's trailer, and that's where you encounter this side mission. I want to say, though, it's also unplayable. You cannot go back and replay it unless you have a specific save right after you beat GTA 5. So, fun fact for those of you who want to try this. Now, Mrs. Phillips is or was once a prostitute and or a stripper, and it's implied in-game that Mrs. Phillips was both abusive and neglectful towards Trevor, rarely paying attention to him and verbally chastising and demeaning towards him on the rare occasions that she did actually pay attention to Trevor. So that's very sad, teary eyes. But Mrs. Phillips was also sentenced to jail for an unknown amount of time, and it remains a mystery as to what she was sentenced for, but it could possibly be drugs maybe, as Mrs. Phillips does appear to be addicted to different kinds of drugs. She also goes on to say that Trevor never wrote or visited her during her prison stint, much to her disappointment, and also is in need of a drug called Delutamol. So basically, when we start this mission, Trevor he instantly breaks down and starts apologizing to his mom and telling her how much he misses her. Now, I've talked about this before, but I'm going to make it short, sweet, and to the point. Basically, my thesis and theory on this side mission is that Trevor actually killed his mom. And this is not his mom physically appearing in game. This is simply a figment of his imagination, because after we encounter this cutscene with his mother, we have to go find these pills called Delutamol for her, and we go back to the trailer, and she's gone. She's nowhere to be found. But before we actually bring the medicine back to her, she actually won't let you in the trailer. The door's locked and you're not allowed in there. So that's that. That's just a very interesting mystery. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this one down below in the comment section. Now, moving on to GTA San Andreas, we actually have Beverly Johnson, who was the mother of Carl Johnson, Kendall Johnson, and Sweet Johnson. Now, she was actually murdered prior to the events of GTA San Andreas, but if you think about it, her murder actually sparked the whole GTA San Andreas storyline, which is really, really cool to think about. Now, the only thing we know about Beverly Johnson, or we know of her, is a picture that can be found inside of her house or CJ's house, and we get to just take a little look at what Beverly Johnson looked like. So that's pretty cool. As well as in game, there is actually a pedestrian model modeled after this image of Beverly Johnson found within the house. But this pedestrian model is not Beverly Johnson because she is, of course, dead. She was murdered and killed in a drive-by. As well as the last kind of physical thing we have of Beverly Johnson in game is her grave. That's it. So that's Beverly Johnson from GTA San Andreas. Not too much is known about her, but this actually is where we transition into most of the unseen mothers and fathers of these GTA protagonists. Now, up next, we actually have Mallika Cipriani, who is the mother of Toni Cipriani, the protagonist of Liberty City Stories. And she's actually heard in over 11 different missions between Grand Theft Auto 3 and GTA Liberty City Stories. And I'll let you guys have a listen in right now.
Behind us. After all, I only did it with your best interest at heart.
So this is pretty cool to think about because Mallika Cipriani, if you think about it, is the first ever parent of a protagonist that we get to encounter in a GTA game. Whereas Janet Vance, as I stated earlier, is the first parent that we get to physically see. Mallika Cipriani is really the first parent of a protagonist that we get to encounter in a Grand Theft Auto game. Now, moving on to Grand Theft Auto 4, we actually have the mother of Niko Bellic, and her name is Mallika Bellic. And we only get to hear from Niko's mother through emails. And in his mother's emails, she mentions that she feels guilty that Niko was corrupted by the environment that he grew up in, and she actually sometimes speaks to Niko in Serbian, which is pretty cool. And she says things along the lines of, I hope you're doing well and you're happy in America, which it's pretty cool because if we choose to respond negatively to these emails that Niko's mother sends, he always, regardless of the option that you choose, responds in a positive manner, just kind of showing his love and support for his mother. Despite this horrible and corrupt environment that she goes on to say that he kind of grew up in. So that's really cool. It shows a lot of compassion from Niko Bellic that we don't really get to see in game. So pretty cool stuff right there. Now, moving on to GTA 5, once again, we actually have Franklin's mom, and we don't know much about her. All we know is that she was a drug addict and that she died some point within Franklin's life. So we don't even know this woman's name, but that's pretty interesting. Now, last but not least, we actually have what could be the parents of Michael Townley or just Michael DeSanta. And this is the only one that is not confirmed in any way, shape, or form because we hear nothing about this throughout any of the in-game dialogue. But if we take a look at some of the pictures scattered throughout Michael's house, we'll find what looks to be two different sets of parents who could possibly be Amanda's parents or Michael's parents. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys to decide, but these pictures can be found throughout Michael's house, of course. Like I said, they look to be older, which of course would be the case as Michael is middle-aged, and I would say Amanda is about the same. So pretty cool stuff here. Like I said, we don't know about these parents for sure, but we can only assume that one of these sets of parents from these pictures are kin to Michael or Amanda, meaning that they are one of the two parents. So that's pretty cool there, but overall, these are every single parent of a protagonist in each GTA game that we know about, of course, from various dialogue, or just seeing them in-game through pictures or physically or whatever the case may be. So hopefully you guys did find this video enjoyable. It's a little longer than usual, but it's a really cool topic that I really wanted to share with you guys. So if you did enjoy, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. If you're still here, let's go for 1,000 likes on the video. If you want to stick around for more content like this, I upload it daily, so be sure to subscribe to never miss out. And with that said, now the way, I believe that's just about it. You guys all take it easy. Have a safe one. My name is Zach Cox, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.